Let's talk about war. Not the kind on a battlefield, but the one that rages inside our own minds every single day. Today, we're diving deep into that internal conflict, and we're going to see how an amazing blend of ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience actually gives us the playbook to win it.
You know the feeling, right? You have a plan. You're going to study, you're going to hit the gym, you're going to eat clean. You know exactly what the right thing to do is. And yet, there you are, an hour later, scrolling on your phone, doing the exact opposite. It's one of the most frustrating parts of being human.
But what if I told you that's not a personal failure? It's not because you're weak or lazy. What if it's actually a fundamental conflict that's hardwired into our brains? A war that's been raging for thousands of years. Just understanding that, well, that's the very first step toward winning.
So let's really get into the nuts and bolts of this internal war. The fact that you even notice this struggle, that you feel that frustration, that's huge. It means your higher self is already in the fight. You're not just a puppet of your impulses anymore. You're starting to become an observer of your own mind.
To really understand this war, we gotta look at the battlefield itself, your brain. And it turns out, modern neuroscience maps this whole internal struggle with a really elegant two-system model. So on one side, you've got your prefrontal cortex, the PFC. Think of this as the CEO of your brain. It's logical, it makes long-term plans, it's the source of your self-control. It's the part of you that says, okay, time to study. But on the other side, you've got the limbic system. This is your primal ancient brain. It's all about feelings, emotions, and getting pleasure right now. It's the voice that whispers, but maybe just one more video. Now here's the kicker. Your PFC, your inner CEO, it runs on a limited battery. It gets tired. So when you're stressed out, or tired, or even just bored, that PFC's power fades, and your limbic system storms the cockpit and takes over. This is not a moral failure. It's a literal neurochemical hijack.
And get this is not a new problem. We're talking thousands of years ago. In the Bhagavad Gita, the warrior Arjuna asks this exact question. He feels this unseen power that pushes him to act against his own better judgment. Sound familiar? It's the same fight.
So, what is this unseen power? Well, Krishna's ancient answer and the modern diagnosis from neuroscience point to the very same thing. Let's break down this enemy we all face, the trap of desire and dopamine.
In the Gita, Krishna calls the enemy kama, which we can translate as sensory desire. And it's described as this restless, insatiable hunger. It's a fire that promises to make you feel good, but only ever leaves you feeling empty and wanting more. It is the absolute root of our self-sabotage.
And the Gita just lays out this whole domino effect perfectly. It all starts with one little thought about something you want. That thought turns into an attachment. That attachment explodes into an overwhelming desire. That desire forces you to act. Then comes the regret. But here's the cruel twist of the trap. The regret just fuels the fire, leading you right back into the same loop.
And guess what? Neuroscience has a modern name for this exact cycle, the dopamine trap. Now, here's a super important point most people get wrong. Dopamine is not the chemical of happiness. It's the chemical of anticipation. It's the molecule of more. It's what drives you to seek the reward, not enjoy it.
So here's how the trap slams shut. You scroll social media, you eat some junk food, you get this huge, easy spike of dopamine. In response, your brain lowers your baseline level of dopamine to keep things balanced. And the result? Now normal, healthy, effortful things like reading a book or going for a run, they literally feel painful and boring because they don't provide that same massive hit. Your brain gets rewired to only want instant gratification.
Okay, so we're basically neurochemically hijacked, stuck in a trap that was described thousands of years ago. It sounds pretty bleak, right? But it's not. Now we get to the good part, the solution, a timeless path to victory.
So when Arjuna complains that controlling the mind is as impossible as controlling the wind, Krishna gives him this incredibly profound two-part formula. He says the mind can be restrained by abhyasa, which means steady, consistent practice, and by vairagya, which means detachment, or learning not to react to every impulse.
And this is where it all just clicks together so perfectly. These ancient ideas have direct one-to-one parallels in modern science. The Gita's idea of sattva, or a state of calm, balance, clarity, that's just PFC regulation. Abhyasa, or steady practice, that's what we now call neuroplasticity. And vairagya, or detachment, that's stimulus control. It's the same instruction manual, just written in a different language.
Let's talk about neuroplasticity for a second, because this is probably the most hopeful idea in all of science. It's your brain's amazing ability to physically change and rewire itself based on what you do. Every single time you feel that pull to procrastinate and you choose to do the hard thing instead, you are physically weakening that old impulse pathway and building a new, stronger one. You can literally physically change your mind.
So this is amazing knowledge, but knowledge isn't enough, right? We need action. So let's build a practical, daily training plan to start rewiring our brains using these timeless principles.
Okay, here's a modern strategy built on that ancient wisdom. First, you play defense. Get rid of the triggers for cheap, easy dopamine. Put the phone in another room. Next, you play offense. Swap those out for effort-based rewards, like the satisfaction of finishing a tough workout. And then you build your foundation. You have to schedule rest, you have to move your body, you have to meditate, and for sure, you have to get enough sleep. That's non-negotiable.
And here are a few tactical tools to help you do that. Use the Pomodoro technique to chop up big tasks into small, focused bursts. It works. Try taking cold showers. It gives you a healthy dopamine boost that actually lasts. Get sunlight first thing in the morning to set your body's clock. And probably the most powerful thing of all, just create a simple, boring, fixed daily routine. It brings so much stability to your brain.
And please, remember this key insight. This flips everything we've been taught on its head. Do not wait to feel motivated to start. It doesn't work that way. Action comes first, motivation follows. The act of starting is what creates the energy to continue. Just commit to 5 minutes. That's it. You'll be amazed at what happens.
And all of this brings us to this beautiful conclusion, right? Where the line between the science of the brain and the wisdom of the soul just completely disappears. They're telling the exact same story.
Look, the goal isn't perfection. You're going to mess up. Your mind is going to wander. The Gita knows this. It says whenever it wanders, just bring it back. The real win isn't in never falling down. It's in the gentle, compassionate act of getting back up, again and again and again and again.
And this right here is the most powerful idea we've talked about. Every single time you get back on track after you've slipped up, you are not starting over from zero. You are rewiring. You are making that connection in your brain a little bit stronger, making the next choice just a tiny bit easier. You're leveling up.
So let this be your mantra. It's a truth backed by thousands of years of wisdom and the latest neuroscience. Through that steady daily practice, and by learning to calmly detach from your impulses, that wild, restless mind, yeah, it can be controlled. You can win the war within.